that if we do hire, it ends up that we've hired this guy that likes kayaking, but hasn't really shown that any performance indications that he can do the job. And so we talk about team-based hiring. We focus on performance-based evaluations. We make things very transparent and very explicit. But the true benefit of team-based hiring is that team becomes the advocacy team for that person. So we have a range of people on that team that are now vested in that person's success. And that person doesn't just have one person to go to. That person has 5 or 6 people to go to. And with that immediate credibility boost comes an increased probability of job success. So not only do we cut down the time that it takes to hire people, we make sure that they have the highest probability of job success by end of year 1. And that to me should be central. And what I typically do when I start an engagement, I talk to the CEO and I ask them the question, what is your number 1 priority? They always say growth. And I always say wrong. It's talent. Talent is going to be the engine of your growth. If you take care of your talent, growth will follow.
Well, and that goes back to what you said, the first barriers, inclusiveness, and how you talked about how making everybody feel valued, a member of the team, efficient, effective, et cetera. And then the second one is if you're looking at metrics of, what heritage or gender people are per role, it's the wrong metric. And then, so what's the third barrier to diversity on teams?
The third barrier is the toughest one, and that is getting the C-suite, in particular, the CEO, the COO, the general counsel, and typically the chief people officer is in the right headspace. But to get the others to realize that they will set the die, they will cast the die, they will set the tone for the entire project, that they have to reskill themselves and have a much different relationship with talent than when they came of professional age. Because we're talking about people who generally came of professional age in the late 20th century, early 21st century. Again, still legacy of machine age talent abuse. Now we're managing a talent force that we need their uniquely human capabilities to drive growth. And that requires that we pay much more attention to how we engage talent, how we nurture talent, how we advance talent. We need to treat them as the humans they are. And that needs to be a priority of the C-suite. That is probably the biggest challenge that we have, is getting that they talk a good game, but getting the C-suite to walk the walk and to really integrate the management of humans into the organizational strategy of the business is it's a big challenge until typically they have an egregious incident and then they realize with loss of customers or loss of revenue, maybe we do need to do something to reskill ourselves, to be in that learning, in that constant learning and development phase in the C-suite is a critical requirement for succeeding in the 21st century.